It's the time we've all been waiting for. It is ATP Finals time, and we're waiting for the final name between Felix or Musetti. Regardless of that, the groups are out, and we have the Bjorn Borg group and the Jimmy Connors group.
That's right, ATP Finals time and the race for year-end world number one. That is also what is at stake at the Nitto ATP Finals. Like you said in the intro, still one place up for grabs though, JG. And we don't know who it's going to be yet. We've got Musetti playing in Athens right now. Felix chose not to play in Metz. Will he regret that decision? And Djokovic looks like his name is in there after all. Despite saying to everybody, I never confirmed I was going to be in there. Will he pull out of it a late withdrawal? Well, let's wait and see. But he's in it for now. And we're going to go through these groups as if he is going to be playing it, aren't we?
Yes, that's right. So let's start with the Jimmy Connors group. And I don't know if you'll be pleased if you're an Alcaraz fan or not, but we'll decide that in a second. It is Carlos Alcaraz, Novak Djokovic, Taylor Fritz, and Alex de Minaur, meaning that the Bjorn Borg group will be Jannik Sinner, Zverev, Ben Shelton, and then either Lorenzo Musetti or Felix Auger-Aliassime.
Initial thoughts on these groups. I think we have to go to the Jimmy Connors group first and give our thoughts on what we think this is like for Carlos Alcaraz. My initial impressions, just go with gut instinct straight away, is I think he's got the more difficult group. And that's me personally. Obviously, that could depend on whether Musetti or Felix go through, because I think Felix would be a more dangerous person to have in there. But if Musetti wins Athens, he will be there. Djokovic being there is a nightmare, I think. Indoor hard court, he's so dangerous. Fritz has already beaten Alcaraz on indoor hard court this year already. And Alex de Minaur, he's the best of the rest, as we know. So, very difficult, I think.
I agree and don't disagree at the same time. The reason I disagree is because Djokovic would be looking at this group and be very pleased. Taylor Fritz, we know he dominates. De Minaur, he does extremely well against. And Alcaraz, out of the two, between him and Sinner, he's got a lot more chances against Carlos Alcaraz. So the real winner from all of this is Novak Djokovic, in my opinion, because this group, I think, is a lot more favourable. I don't know if I had something with like the head-to-heads on each group, because I thought that was quite interesting.
Let me bring that up.
And yeah, in Djokovic's ATP Finals group, he's got a 5-4 record against Alcaraz, 11-0 record, 11-love record against Taylor Fritz, and de Minaur 3-1. So for Novak Djokovic, it is a real success. Every player in his group, he's got a positive head-to-head against.
Yeah, he couldn't have picked it probably any better, I would have thought. Alex de Minaur, we know what it's like when he comes up against Djokovic. Taylor Fritz, definitely. The only person that you'd say mentally can beat Djokovic on a tennis court out of those lot is Carlos Alcaraz. But it's on his worst surface, indoor hard court. He only has one indoor hard court title to his name in his career. That was in Rotterdam earlier this year. It was an ATP 500. But he'll be looking to prove the naysayers wrong, and he does have a lot to play for. You've got to remember that. The world number one being at stake, he needs to get probably 2 wins guaranteed in this group stage to get into that semi-final, and then probably still needs an extra win in that semi-final to secure that world number one.
Yeah, and Alcaraz, I think it's got good chances to be able to secure that year at number one, because I would expect him to beat Novak Djokovic, and I can't see him losing to de Minaur. I feel like the only loss what could happen for Alcaraz would be against the Taylor Fritz, and of course, there's no guarantee of that.
No.
But I don't think that really matters. For me, I think he has to win all 3 group matches to then confirm himself as year-end number one. If he wins 2, then he needs to win the semi-final as well, which is, of course, a different match, and we don't have a clue who it's going to be yet. We don't even know who's going to be in that final group fully, because we're waiting for Felix and Musetti. Musetti had a big scare the other day against Stan Wawrinka. Crazy match. I watched the highlights. Really beautiful match with both the lovely styles of the one-handed backhand. It was flowing. I highly recommend watching the highlights if you've not seen it. And Musetti just did what Stan has been doing his whole career for many, many years, probably 20 years plus. A little bit better and bigger moments. And that's all really come down to. Stan hit some crazy winners. So did Musetti. And Musetti just had a little bit too much. But I think that just shows the level of Stan Wawrinka still. However old he is you'll have to let me know his exact age. I don't want to get it
40, I
wrong.
believe.
But played on the tour for so many years, yet still able to compete with one of the best players in the world. I think that's credit to him, and credit to Musetti for sticking in there against a tough opponent with so much at stake, because the pressure, I think, would have got to many other players, and maybe even a Musetti of the last few years. So great that he's still in the tournament. He's going to have to win that tournament to get into the tournament, and I think deep down, these players here would rather Musetti than a Felix.
Most definitely, they would prefer Musetti to a Felix, and especially Jannik Sinner, because he'll probably be looking at this group. I don't think he'll fear anybody really on the indoor hard courts anyway, but I think if he had to pick someone who would want to play right now, he's just beaten Zverev twice on indoor hard court in the past few weeks. So I think he'd probably be happy to face him again. They do have some close matches, but I think he has the mental edge. Shelton, he's only beaten him once, and it was the first ever meeting. And since then, he hasn't barely won a set against Jannik Sinner in all of their other meetings.
Well, they played in Paris, didn't they? And it was 6-3, 6-3.
Exactly. So, and then Felix would be the person, but obviously against Musetti, he's beaten him 3 out of 3. Whereas Felix is the only one on indoor hardcourt, I think, that could really give him a run for his money. Zverev on his day, granted, he probably could, but it's just upstairs is the real worry for Sasha Zverev. And you know, when he goes on a losing run against someone, it's in his head even more.
Yeah, I think Sinner is that good that it doesn't really matter what group he has.
No.
It's kind of like Djokovic of the last 10 years or so, because he's so good in these conditions on this surface. Does his group really matter all too much? You've got to beat the very best to win this tournament. Let's be fair, because the final will be the player who's won the most matches from the other side. And you play everyone in your group. So you can only beat who's in front of you. I think Sinner will be very pleased with his group, but I think he would have been pleased with anyone in his group.
Yeah.
He probably would have liked Novak Djokovic, I think. I don't think that would have been too much of a worry. He certainly would have liked Alex de Minaur. And I think Alex de Minaur is going to really struggle, because this is where we see him exposed. He's a fantastic player against everyone outside the top 8. But when you start getting to these top 8 players, this is where we see the demon exposed slightly. And I can't see a win coming from him in this top group. If you go to the bottom group, however, you can make a case for everyone to be able to beat anyone aside from Jannik Sinner, because Sinner's so much better than everyone, I think, in these conditions on a hard court, specifically an indoor hard court, that doesn't matter who you put in his group. Even with Alcaraz, obviously, it couldn't have happened. But if say, Alcaraz was lower in the rankings and he was playing him in his group, you'd fancy Sinner in these conditions. So between the other 3, though, I don't know who's going to be coming out of the group. And I guess we can give some early predictions in a minute of what we think. Of course, we don't even know who the final name is. But what's your initial thoughts?
Initial thoughts, I'm looking at the groups. I would say it's just dependent on Felix being there or not. You'd have to go with Sinner and Zverev just based on who's there at the moment. The one thing that Sinner has on his side as well that we had not mentioned is it's in Italy. So you have even more on your side there, especially if you're somebody who gets affected by the crowd. It's a bit of a raucous atmosphere, and it does play into the hands of Jannik Sinner quite nicely. So I would go with Zverev to just be able to hold his nerve against the others, except for Sinner.
And that could be interesting if we do get Musetti advanced. The crowd will be fully behind him, which could spur him on even more. I'm going for, we'll do the predictions now then. I think we both agree Jannik Sinner is winning the group.
Yeah.
For that second place, you're torn between Zverev or maybe a Felix if he's there. I'm not going for Zverev. I'm more thinking between Ben Shelton or Felix, if it's Felix, or if it's Musetti. I'm not so sure. I think it'll be tougher.
A lot
But
tougher.
I'm actually going to be. I'm going with Felix if he's to be there. Felix is there. I'm having a Jannik Sinner and Felix. If Musetti advances, then I'm probably going to go with a surprise and have Jannik Sinner, Ben Shelton. We've seen with the WTA finals, it's not necessarily just the rank. It doesn't work just like the rankings. Iga went out. She wasn't able to advance. These things can happen. So I'm sticking with my prediction of Jannik Sinner, number one, and then either Felix or Ben Shelton, depending if Felix is there.
I'll wait to hear what the court speed is before I make my final decision for Zverev. If it's a 35 CPI again, maybe I won't have him. Anyway, moving to the top group, and we were just talking about Sinner favouring playing people like Alex de Minaur. Obviously, Alex de Minaur managed to get a set off him the last time he played him. That was a real big step up for Alex de Minaur, especially against Sinner, who he's not really had a chance, not really had a look in any of the matches. So I think he is progressing quite nicely, and he could be like a bit of a dark horse in this group. Not many people probably having their eyes on him, no expectations, I don't think, for Alex de Minaur from this group. But he could surprise some people, maybe. But I like this tweet he put out. He saw Jannik Sinner playing golf, and he said, I think I could finally beat you at something. So there you go. Yeah, it's quite funny. Alex de Minaur, he's being self-deprecating, which I quite like about him. He knows the reality of the situation. But he's still got a lot of work to do. Can he do it in this tournament? Can he beat the likes of a Djokovic who's in decline? Can he beat Carlos Alcaraz on his least favoured surface? And Taylor Fritz, I'd say Taylor Fritz might even be the most difficult match for him in this group.
I think so too. I think Taylor Fritz for sure is the most challenging match, and I think a loss could happen there. Djokovic is a really tough one because we've not been sure if he's going to be playing the event. He is now playing the event, it appears. What's his motivation? Is he worried just about the participation and getting them statistics up? Like you said earlier on another episode, he would go, is it tying Roger Federer?
I believe so, like 17 appearances.
I don't think that's. I don't know if I buy into that. Surely he wants to go and win. He can win. He can beat all of these players. He's shown it with his winning head to head. Do I think he's going to advance? Maybe not. I think I'm going to go for a bit of a surprise. I'm going for Taylor Fritz to top the group and beat an Alcaraz, which could surprise some people. And I'm having Alcaraz get out of the group as well in number 2, which would set up a potential semi-final match between Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner, which would then determine who gets year-end number 1. I think it's written in the stars that way. We get an Alcaraz-Sinner match in the semi-final. Whoever wins becomes year-end number 1. Not necessarily, because then if Sinner goes to the final and loses the final, so if he beats Alcaraz, then Alcaraz will still be number 1.
Let's be fair, though. If he gets through Alcaraz and gets to the final, he's probably going to win it. But nothing's guaranteed in this world. No. Tennis is a funny old game. We've seen Sinner get to the final this year already and have to withdraw from the final and lost to Alcaraz. What was it, 5-love in Cincinnati?
Yeah.
I don't even know this one. There's part of me thinking Djokovic is just there for participation, and I haven't really seen enough from him. He's playing in Athens at the moment, but is he really playing anyone of this type of level? Not really. He's playing a 250 event. I think he could. The age will show him possibly, and he may lose his first one. I'm not sure who it's going to be against. If he plays, I don't know then. But then it's that head-to-head thing. You're swaying me a little bit with it. Could Taylor Fritz get his first win over Djokovic in this? I think that could be possible.
We're doing this episode a little bit too early because if we waited 2 hours or so, he's going to be playing Borges.
True.
Novak Djokovic. You'd have seen a little bit more from him.
I'm the most interesting person in this whole group for me to see how the level is going to be Carlos Alcaraz. Like, I'm confident that de Minaur will have a solid level on indoor hardcourt. Same with Fritz. Similar with Djokovic, but just motivation. It's mainly where is Carlos's head at and how good is his game on the
After
indoor hard court.
Paris.
Exactly. So I think I'm with you. I think Carlos could come second in this group as well. I think I could go with your same pairing as well. I think Taylor Fritz could win it. I quite like your narrative you've built as well. I'm sold on the semi-final of Sinner versus Alcaraz. But let us know in the comments. Do you agree, or are we just Alcaraz haters again? Oh no, Sinner's going to win the group. It's based on just loving him, not based upon the fact he's the best indoor hard court player on the tour. So
I love Carlos Alcaraz, for the record. And I wouldn't be mad if we see him win this and beat everyone, even
I would love
Jannik
that.
Sinner. I think it would be a big statement of intent, and you'd have to give him a lot of credit for it. And he's certainly capable of it. So don't write Carlos Alcaraz off by any means. If I have to give my prediction right now, though, of course, it's just a prediction, just my thoughts. I'm going for a Taylor Fritz victory in the group with Alcaraz second. And that's going to upset some Djokovic fans, no doubt. But I'm really not sure what his motivation is for this event and what level we're going to see.
I think the Djokovic fans have dissipated a little bit of late. They don't see him play that often. They're not really expecting him to win. So there's not really as much cause for argument anymore. If people say he's going to lose, then it's sometimes expected now. So I don't think anyone could be mad, because we've seen him lose to lesser opposition on more times than not over the past year. So yeah, if he plays Italians especially, they seem to be a bit of a bogey player for him. So luckily he's got no Italians in his group.
Yeah, in terms of when the tournament begins, I'm just having a little look now. It looks like it's from the 9th of November to the 16th. I think we're starting off with some doubles, but everything's to be determined. We've not got an order of play as of yet. So we'll be in touch with that, and of course give match reactions after these big matches. I'm really looking forward to it. Me and Ben will be around in Italy as well at some point, which is exciting. So if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and let us know about the groups. Who has won out here with the groups, and who do you think is going to be victorious and win the ATP Finals?
See you on the next one.